Hey, welcome back. We're live. We have GoogleFrog versus Shalkka. The best of three. This is match 3 on Village de Saint-Antoine. In case you're wondering about the Imperium thing, there was a disconnect at the very end where Shalkka was winning. So we aren't sure what to do with it. We are going to, if necessary, if Shalkka wins this match, replay from a save at the end point when he disconnected. And whoever wins that, win the series. If Shalkka wins Game 3. If GoogleFrog wins Game 3, then there's no issue. GoogleFrog goes to the finals, faces numbers, and then whoever wins the entire tournament, hopefully before 11. I'm just going to say it right now. But, yeah, we should have some interesting games. The last two games with Shalkka and GoogleFrog have been very interesting, and I don't imagine this will be any less interesting. Though, hopefully it's a bit shorter. I don't want to complain, it's just that it was a 45-minute game last time, or 40-minute game last time with Shalkka and GoogleFrog going at it. Shalkka doing a very good job of keeping himself alive despite GoogleFrog's repeated harassment. However, GoogleFrog did eventually get rid of Shalkka, the space, and that was the Game 2. So Game 3 on Village de Saint-Antoine, much like the other two maps actually, is not a hugely resource-heavy map. It's probably the most famine map in the tournament, but I'm not 100% sure on that, depending on how you define it. In terms of actual number of boxes, it's definitely the most famine map. In terms of how easy it is to put RPs around them, I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that GoogleFrog is in the top left and Shalkka is on the bottom right. GoogleFrog is playing Vecgir again. Interesting. Shalkka is playing Grekim. Shalkka has actually been randomizing this entire tournament. It just so happens that he's been playing every single match with a different race. So Shalkka pulling a Haiku and playing, it turns out, every single race. We see that GoogleFrog is continuing to play Vecgir, like I said, a bit odd off race, but they are pretty powerful, and he did have more success with them than CISO. At least against Shalkka, his CISO strategy for some reason didn't quite pan out. Actually, not quite for some reason. It was watch the first game, then you'll see. But, of course, we aren't 100% sure if that didn't pan out. We'll double check. But as far as GoogleFrog is concerned, it didn't. He's obviously going for Vecgir a lot in the last couple of games, and he's intentionally going for Vecgir too, as far as I know. I don't think he's going random. Shalkka, I do know, is going random, though, so whatever he gets is whatever he gets. Anyway, GoogleFrog getting a fairly quick depot, but the same timing as last time, getting 7 RPs on LC before getting an RP on QP, and actually teleporting one to QP as well, so he's very quickly getting RPs, getting enough LC for Zion Pulsar, and then getting RPs onto, well, actually, LC is still being taken, so it's not a big deal. But he's getting LC and then shifting it back onto QP. So I end up having 6 LC, 2 QP, while Shalkka is at 5 LC, 2 QP. Interesting. I haven't seen a Grekim player really go for a lot of QP recently. I don't know if he's going for high tech or if he's going for more octopods. But I know that it's not a super common setup for Grekim. Usually they go for 6 or 7 LC before they start going for QP. But there have been a lot of changes to Grekim, and players have been adapting to it, and maybe part of the adaptations is setting out. I have not played against a lot of Grekim players recently, so I'm not 100% sure. But it's quite likely that they are adapting to the inability to rush as effectively as they used to by building up tech a bit more quickly. However, 6 RPs now on QP, or sorry, LC 3-yard QP, and that will be a fairly standard economic setup. Just the QP is coming a bit earlier than I expected. So GoogleFrog is getting quite a bit of LC compared to QP. Shalkka is getting quite a bit of both, and will be able to actually... No, LC's more than QP for him too. So yeah, he will be able to get some tech fairly quickly, but I don't know if he's going for that. I imagine he's probably going to go for something like Octopods or Pharaohs and Octopods to help against Cloak Defense. He doesn't know what GoogleFrog's going for. GoogleFrog's probably not going for a Zion Turcher, but it's worth defending against. And yes, there they are, the Octopods and the Pharaohs, like I said. So the Octopods and Pharaohs are going to be able to catch the Zion Pulsar coming in once it comes in, although it hasn't yet. There we go. The Zion Pulsar is coming in, and it does have Skip Teleport enabled, so it will be able to just avoid this entirely if it wants to. Getting around to the main base from the looks of it, GoogleFrog is focusing on just the micro around, while Shalkka setting his Pharaohs up to the middle of the map, trying to harass that Zion Pulsar, but not succeeding because the Zion Pulsar never really got around there. Not harassing the main base, however. It looks like the Zion Pulsar is a bit delayed. It's hard to tell. The players are jumping around a lot, as players typically do. So there's a lot of discontinuities right now. Smooth out, and we'll know for sure what happened. But for right now, GoogleFrog seems to be going to the main base of Shalkka. Shalkka is also attacking with a fairly large force. So Shalkka is basically rushing with Octopods and Pharos, while a Zion Pulsar is sent to Shalkka's base to harass that a little bit. However, Shalkka, having his main attack force already prepped up, and quite a few resources on top of that, should be pretty safe when it comes to trying to deal with what's going on. GoogleFrog, on the other hand, is less well prepared for a rush as far as I can tell, but having the same amount of resources, same amount of RPs, he should be fine for the most part. Setting up his Zion Pulsar, well, once again teleporting away from the Zion Pulsar, so Zion Pulsar will only really be used for harassment, will not be used for any real defense, but the harassment may prove effective in defending further attacks. An aerial control center is coming up, and if Shin Turtles do come up, that should seal it and allow GoogleFrog to defend this, but otherwise Shalkka will be able to get a huge advantage very early on in this game, and frankly I'm not surprised. Village Singleton is turning out to be a very rush-heavy map. The size isn't too small, but the fact that it does have few resources means that investing in late game is often a very risky proposition. 2 Zion Turtles actually coming in from the... No, 2 Shin Turtles, sorry, started selfish on the ground. Shin Turtle and a Zion Turtle, I believe, are being built, or have been built, and are doing a decent enough job. The Zion Turtle isn't cloaked, but it really doesn't make a difference. The Shin Turtles are going to be what helps out... No, sorry, those are Octos. I apologize, I must be too far away from the screen. Anyway, I don't need glasses. I went to the eye doctor today. He said I didn't need glasses. But... I'm serious, I actually do go to the eye doctor today. He did say I didn't need glasses. The Zion Pulsar is in the back, and the Octopods and Octos, not Pharos, and the Octopods and Octos are attacking. Zion Turtle should then actually cloak to deal with this, because that will allow him to just get rid of the Zion Turtles, and the Octopods won't be able to detect. Sorry, Octos and Octopods, none of them will be able to detect. So, between the Shin Turtle and Zion Turtle, a couple of Pharos appear to be part of the group, but it looks like they're hanging back in the natural now. Shalkka's probably not actually going to be committing that. He probably will be sending them over to attack as well. But it looks like he might actually be committing the attack as a whole. I think the attack may be... No, it's not an echo attack. He is actually validly attacking. He is still to the south and continue to attack. So that attack will be going through. Not sure the Pharos will be coming in to help out as well against the Zion Turtle, but the Zion Turtle is cloaked. The Zion Turtle will be able to deal with what's going on, and the Octopods and Octos will not be able to deal with that Zion Turtle no matter what. So the Shin Turtle is able to destroy the incoming forces. Shalkka continuing to jump back. Both players trying to dance around each other back on the timeline, trying to figure out how to best make this work to their advantage, but it probably won't. Really, Shalkka won't likely be able to get through this unless he gets his Pharos in, and even then he needs some Seppies or something to really get through. He doesn't seem to be getting a lot of tech. He's buying himself a fair amount of time, but he's not getting a lot of tech. The Zion Pulsar is dealing a lot of damage. Does need to be dealt with, but it would take 3 or 4 Octos to deal with that in its current position. So Shalkka appears to be actually delaying the attack. Not sure if he's going to go for delayed unplayable pass attack or just going to be slowing down the attack. And Octopod actually is helping out against the Zion Pulsar and has managed to destroy it. Zion Veer will not be able to get rid of the Octopod before the Octopod completely obliterates it, and now that Zion Veer is dead. So, Shalkka managing to defend his base, getting more Octopods into GoogleFrog's base, setting up a larger attack before he just goes for it, and he's gone for it. GoogleFrog does see it happening. No, he hasn't gone for it. Never mind. He's not quite gone for it. But RPs are being built, so he is trying to take the natural from GoogleFrog. The Octopods, however, the spare Octopods and Octos will be able to help out a lot. Pharos are needed, though. Pharos are definitely going to be needed if Shalkka wants to properly make this final push. If he gets through this, it's going to be the final push. Very close to the unplayable pass. Players will not really have a way of getting through this, so a very quick game this has turned out to be, at least at the start. Pharos do need to be built, though. And sent in. This is the biggest thing. Looks like some Seppies are in, but no Pharos, or the Pharos have been killed very quickly. So right now, it looks like neither player is really set up to completely obliterate the other. Shalkka mostly because of lack of detection. GoogleFrog because of the fact that he doesn't have a huge amount of forces. But if GoogleFrog can just get rid of the siege right now, then Shalkka will be in a pretty bad spot. Shalkka hasn't really used the time he has gotten to build tech. But he has been building a lot of units, which means he will still have a... Oh no, never mind, Pharaoh has been set up, and the Zion Turtle has been destroyed, and Shalkka's in a very good spot. If he can just get through this, he will be able to get rid of the Shin Turtle, and the Shin Turtle has been destroyed. Both players are jumping back to try to fix this, but it looks like Shalkka will be able to come out on top. GoogleFrog's actually losing out this very quickly. GoogleFrog's Shin Turtle will be going down, and that will not last long. Another Shin Turtle is coming in, however, which should be able to pick up the slack, and... No, that's not a Shin Turtle, that's Shin Pulsar. I think. I haven't seen... I'm not sure if that's Shin Pulsar or Shin Turtle that health bars are really getting in the way. But it looks like it's probably Judging by the attack pattern, it's probably Teth Turcher, but if it's a Shin Pulsar, I'll be very surprised. We never see Shin Pulsars, but it's probably Teth Turcher because we never see Shin Pulsars, and that would be unlikely for GoogleFrog just to randomly do. Shin Pulsars, in case you're wondering, are generalist air units, fairly cheap. They break the Temporal Solution Shield, the invincibility ability of... Yeah, they are Teth Turchers, no mistake. But yeah, Shin Pulsars break the invincibility of CISO units if they have the invincibility ability, but otherwise they aren't super useful. While Shin Turchers, on the other hand, are detectors and are bombers and are air units. They're very useful in a lot of ways, but they aren't going to be able to last long enough. The Teth Turcher, however, won't be able to deal with this because it is lucky, but I seriously doubt it because that Shin Turcher is the bomber unit. That's what it really needs to use to get through this. The Octopods are not dedicated anti-air units, but they are doing a well enough job to get rid of what's there. And Octopod actually set up a Progenitor. I'm not sure why. To be perfectly honest, there's no legal class has not been upgraded, and it doesn't look like Shalkka is actually using his other Progenerators to build more units right there. I would expect... No, he has no advanced structures either, so he can't build any air units. So I'm not sure why the Octopod is currently in Progen mode. I mean, it is a turret when in Progen mode. That's the only thing I can think of. Because Octopods are not going to be useful in Progen mode to build more units if you don't have a Sepipod or a Pharopod next to them. And since Sepipods and Pharopods can't be built right now because Advanced Structures is not built and Spire is not built, that Octopod is pretty much just a turret. An ad hoc turret since Advanced Structures does not exist and so domes cannot be built. However, it's not a particularly powerful turret, as we can see by this Shin Turcher and Teth Turcher completely obliterating what's going on. Another Shin Turcher, another 2 Shin Turchers coming in, so 3 Shin Turchers and 1 Teth Turcher going to be able to obliterate Shalkka's forces unless he manages to recommand everything to attack the incoming forces and protect that Progenitor, but none of his forces seem to be hierarchied right now, so it doesn't look like... Or no, they are hierarchied, but they aren't being used as a hierarchy, which is really odd. Shalkka can just, with one order, get everything in, save his entire... Well, save his Octopod, which is buying himself time, and now he is. Okay, he has gone back further, and he is starting to attack with that setup, with the Arcticus units. Not a whole lot of attack, but there is enough coming in, enough Seppies and enough... Wow, it's a lot of Seppies. He really... GoogleFrog really focused on a lot of air units, probably to his detriment. It seems that Shalkka completely predicted this, built a lot of Seppies in order to deal with it, and is managing to deal with it very well. So the Octopods are re-entering the base, more Octopods coming in, and Seppies also coming in to try to deal with the air units that are trying to defend. They are doing a very good job dealing with the air units. The air units that were attacking have actually retreated, but the Seppies will be able to take care of them fairly quickly. More Seppies are coming in, or more Octopods actually coming in. Seppies will likely be coming in as well, and that will be likely enough, with all this coming in, to obliterate GoogleFrog if he's able to get through the air. He just needs to get through the air defense. That's it. If he's able to do that, it's really hard though, because Design Pulsars are actually doing most of the defense work now. They teleport back and manage to help out a lot with the defense work. The Octopods aren't able to deal with them as effectively as they would like. What Shalkka really needs right now is air units, actually, interestingly enough. He would need Pharopods because there isn't a lot that Grekim has to deal with. I mean, either Octopods or lots and lots of Octos, but he doesn't have this chrono energy to build lots and lots of Octos. So his best bet right now would probably be to try to get air units as quickly as he can. Get a Reef, get Spire, get air units. But he does not seem to be going for that. He has no Seppi making a Spire. He's focused entirely on this all-in attack, still continuing to focus on the attack, and it's doing a fair amount of damage, but unfortunately not enough. The Shin Turchers and Teth Turchers are coming around to attack the base, try to finish off Shalkka when he's vulnerable. He has no real units coming in to defend the base, and GoogleFrog's attack may actually end up being successful. It looks like it's on the track to be successful. The Sign Pulsar's coming in to deal with the forces that are in the base, but they have to retreat. Too many units to come in to attack, but from their main base, with the repairing and with the air units supporting, they should be fine. While at the same time, GoogleFrog's Air Force coming in to destroy Shalkka's entire base, deal with everything that's currently there, get rid of the Arcticus, get rid of the RPs primarily, and once that's destroyed, I think Shalkka will have to call it. He did do a very impressive all-in, but unfortunately it's an all-in, which means if it fails, you lose the game. Shalkka going for one last desperate move, trying to get rid of the Design Pulsars, getting rid of a foundation that's healing him, but unfortunately the Design Pulsars are still healing too fast. One of the Design Pulsars is being destroyed, but the other Design Pulsar will be able to finish off the Octopods. Not a lot coming in, but Shalkka does have a lot of resources. He will be able to build a ton of units if he's able to get the chrono energy to do it. However, he doesn't seem to be doing that right now. He's doing his best to get what he can. He's actually retreated. It looks like he's retreated his forces ultimately, but his main base is getting attacked heavily. At this point, it almost looks like it's going to come down to who can destroy whose base fastest, and then from there, the other's units fastest. And I think Grekim has the advantage on that Actually, don't just think Grekim has the advantage. Grekim has the advantage. When it comes down to losing all your buildings, Grekim is mostly unit-based when it comes to production. Their Archkiss is handy, but everything else, they're unit-based. And especially with the amount of resources that Shalkka has, it should not be a problem for him to rebuild if he has to. While, on the other hand, GoogleFrog, if he runs out of buildings, if he has a spare Shinbir, he will be able to rebuild somewhere, but it's still going to be a problem. As Iron Pulse are coming in to deal with the front assault force, but not enough teleporting away to get out. Retreat. It's not enough to deal with this. While the RPs are being destroyed, Shalkka does have still enough in reserve to build quite a few Akos, but not enough to really deal with what's going on. So I think Shalkka, he's probably going to go for one final desperate push, and that seems to be going right now, actually. He's going for one final desperate push that won't work. It simply won't work. There's too many Zion Pulsars, and the Octopods will not be able to deal with them in enough time. One did die, actually, but there are too many Zion Pulsars to deal with right now. Shalkka continuing to try to retreat, hold back. Really what Shalkka would best be off doing would be to build as big of an army as he can and then rushing. Just build as big of an army as you can. Just jump towards the timeline. Try to get wherever you have chrono energy. Just build and build and build and then go for a big attack. But it looks like the big attack is not going to be undoable. The Archicus has been destroyed. Those forces can't be commanded without too much chrono energy spending, and that is likely to be the game. I think GoogleFrog has won this series, but still, Shalkka making a valiant effort, setting up shop inside of GoogleFrog's natural, setting up a reef, setting up some RPs, but GoogleFrog's Air Force is coming in to deal with this, finish him off, getting rid of the forces being built by Tribe, getting rid of the Triads, and getting rid of the RPs. This will be game. Shalkka has no way of getting out of this. GoogleFrog actually has a spare set of foundations, so two spare sets of foundations, actually, one in the north and one in the northeast. So even if Shalkka managed to destroy the main base, GoogleFrog still has more than enough to recover. So Shalkka has lost the game right now. But well played anyway. Very exciting. That was still a very great way to go out. A bit, okay, maybe not the best way to go out, but still fun for me. It's fun to watch. I'm sure the viewers at home enjoyed the excitement of that big all-in. None of it was going to happen. It was tense. I thought it was tense. I really enjoyed watching that. So Shalkka has lost his base, has lost everything he owned. I think the bottom left corner might have something he owns, and that would be enough, being Grekim, to rebuild if he wanted to. But I think GoogleFrog will be able to check for that. It's not too hard to figure out where your opponent might go, given where the expansions are. But I think the bottom left corner of the map, the southwest corner of the map, is the only spot that might have anything. No, that's GoogleFrog stuff. So yeah, GoogleFrog has won the game. Shalkka has nothing he can do to get out of this. No gate tech, no anything. No air units, no spare triad. So yeah, well done to GoogleFrog. Very well done, very well played. A tough rush to defend against, but he defended against it very well. And it's quite interesting seeing how often Village de Saint-Antoine has been used for these sort of all-in build inside your natural rushers. I didn't really expect that when I built the map, but it's very interesting. I'm kind of glad it's happening. It's a strategy I didn't see coming, but that I think is entertaining. It's certainly fun to watch. So, very well done to both players throughout the series. And, I mean, on the one hand, this does mean that we don't have to worry about Game 1, because Shalkka has lost both the other two games. So GoogleFrog has officially won both games, both Game 2 and Game 3. So he's won the series. So GoogleFrog versus Numbers Finals will be starting probably within the next 5 or 10 minutes. Just need to set up a bit, make sure people have map choices, all that stuff. Once that's set up, we'll start that up. It's a best of 5 rather than a best of 3. And that will be coming up with GoogleFrog and Numbers very shortly. Yeah, GoogleFrog not entirely sure what exactly Shalkka is up to, but it looks like... Yeah, Shalkka's wondering if there's paradoxes. Well, no, there's no paradoxes. No chronoporting has been researched. No delayed attacks were there. There are no paradoxes. So Shalkka is trying to figure out if anything's happening on the timeline. Not necessarily the worst idea as a general habit, but if you know that you haven't researched chronoporting, then it's pretty obvious that the timeline is going to be consistent. There's pretty much no way to mess it up once it's fallen to the unplayable pass in a couple time waves that have already passed by. So Shalkka has lost the game. He will be GGing, and then we'll move on to the finals. So, very good defense from GoogleFrog. So this is interesting. Both GoogleFrog and Numbers very skilled at unplayable pass defense. Apparently, I mean, I've never seen GoogleFrog actually pull this off. I've never seen GoogleFrog try, and I'm glad he was able to pull it off because that's a powerful strategy. It's good to know there's a very powerful defense against it as well. So, all-in strategy failed, but still a valiant attempt by Shalkka. Well done to both players, and we'll be moving on to the finals shortly. And for now, just take a short break. so I can enjoy my tea a bit more. And then the finals. So keep watching, stay tuned, and we'll see you in a few minutes.